guys, my name is Katie or Kbdoesart, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to model a really cute penguin character that one of my friends drew. So I'll make sure to link the references for you guys. I don't think I've done a character model on this channel before, so I'm really excited to kind of see how this goes. But let's go ahead and jump in. So let's go into the front view, and I'm going to do view, image plane, import image. And then I'm just going to go ahead and find my, let's use this reference. All right. So as you can see, super cute little guy. I'm going to use the side view for now. And then we can jump into, actually, maybe let's start with the front view for front. And then we'll work on the side view later. Okay, so I'm going to start all of this from a cube. So grab a cube, let's move it down to the bottom. Also, click your reference and click looking through camera. That way we can just see it here. And then I'm going to turn the alpha gain down a little bit and turn the color gain down a little bit, just so it's not so blaring. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just scale this guy up, and then I want to take these vertices and take them all the way up to, yeah, we can go to like the top of their head, maybe like there. Okay. Next we're going to do some multi-cut. So if you hold shift and right click, you can grab your multi-cut tool pretty easily. And then I'm going to make multi-cuts at his shoulder, around the neck area, in the middle of the face, and that should be good for now. Next, I'm going to be using vertex mode. Actually, I guess first let's go ahead and do, let's figure out the side a bit more. So let's go into side X. So let's see. Okay, so this can work for our reference. We can do the exact same image in this one. The only difference is that we will just focus on the side view for this guy. And also click looking through camera. Okay, so now I want you guys to go ahead and scale this guy up so that he fits a bit better like that. And then let's add a multi-cut where there's some like clear changes in the plane. So looks like we got the neck pretty good. The shoulders are good. We'll add a multi-cut here for when it starts going into his back and put one here. Okay, that should be good for now. So these are the amounts of multi-cuts that I've added so far. Alright, so now we've got the basic cube going. If we go back into the front view, we can start editing some vertices. So we're just going to select these top vertices and just scale them in like this. Actually, if we scale down on the top, yeah, let's do that. So when you select the vertices, hold Control and then scale on the top like this. That will basically make it scale on the X and Z axis and not on the Y axis. So if you hold Control while scaling on one of the axes, they like lock it basically. Also, ignore the hat. We are just going around the face for all of these vertices. Make sure you're holding Control while you're doing that. So hold Control at this point. Okay. There we go. We can also add a multi-cut in the middle and on the sides like this. Remember, to add your middle cut, you just hold Control and click the middle mouse button on your mouse. So now we have some cuts going like this. Let's, if you smooth it out, you'll see it's a little blocky right now, so we can kind of deal with that. Let's edit our side view. So as you can see, we're going to want to bring these vertices down, and this vertex will go here, like that. This guy will come out. All right, we'll need to add another multi-cut right here to get that rounded feel. There we go. There's more of his neck. I'll probably want to add, actually maybe this multi-cut can go here, and then I'm going to add a multi-cut here and here and use these vertices to pull this outer edge like that. There we go. And then this one, I'm going to have do that plane shift. This vertice can go about here. Ooh, there also needs to be a multi-cut right here to do this portion. This guy will be the little butt. And these guys will be his stomach. Alright, so as you can see, I'm really just trying to kind of like hug my reference a little bit. Actually, this part we can even bring down further. Maybe like there, and then I'll add just another multi-cut here and just use that to kind of round it out. Okay, I'm gonna add one more here. Perfect. Okay. So got the bottom all figured out. We'll make the tail will be an extrusion we'll add in. See, we can add that later. Okay, but now that looks pretty good to the silhouette. I need one more here. Okay. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. The wing as well will kind of make as a an extrusion. Let's add a multi-cut going down the middle and then on both sides like that. Okay, and then let's see how he's looking. Very cute. I do want to establish this as, I want to establish the face like right off the bat. So for the beak, I think what I want to do is create it using another cube. So grab a cube, bring it on up, and we're going to use this to be the beak. Let's first add a multi-cut in the middle. So this will be our top. And then we'll use these vertices. I'm going to turn down my, there we go. So you guys can see that a bit better. I'm going to use that. This will be the top beak. I'm going to add multi-cuts on each side. Okay, so that is the basic silhouette for the side. For the front, we're going to need to bring those guys in, move them on down to be the top. And then these guys will do the same. Kind of just going to like follow the silhouette outwards for the top silhouette. All right. I'm just going to bring these guys up since they do not need to be that long. Okay. And then I'm going to add a multi-cut in the middle here. And then these guys can come up a tad, maybe like that. Just give it like a little bump. And this guy can come down. All right, let's go ahead and make the beak. I'm gonna do that by just grabbing another cube. And let's just bring it on up here. I think I'm gonna make the top beak one and then the bottom beak another. So let's go ahead and add a multi-cut going on the middle and across like that. Let's grab these vertices and scale them on in like this. And same with those guys. And these guys should be fine to keep out like that. Next, I'm just going to add a multi-cut like this on each side. And I'm just going to bring both of them up like this. And same with that. And this guy will come up just a tad. Maybe more like that. Alright, and then let's see how that's looking. Alright, we want to make sure that it's in the front. So go ahead and drag it out to be in the front like this. And then as you can see, we're going to need to make the side view a bit more accurate. So we can go ahead and let's add in a multi-cut in the middle. And then this vertex will be the top. And these vertices will be this bottom portion here. So let's add in another multi-cut and create this silhouette here. Alright, and then this silhouette will match with these guys, and this will be the end. Yep, so you can really like hug those very close at the bottom. I'm going to add a multi-cut here so I can use this as a little silhouette like that. And I'll add a multi-cut here so I can round this off a bit. Okay, and then just to make it all even, I'll add multi-cuts there, and there, and just edit that a bit to be with the silhouette. Alright, so there's our little beak. Looking very cute. You can kind of round it out and see how it looks. So the beak for the bottom will be something that we add in as well. I'm just going to hide this one for now, and then we can work on the bottom beak. So grab another cube, bring it on up, and we'll scale it down. So it should be about that big. I'm going to add another multi-cut going in the middles, and then we'll scale these guys, move these guys down. I'm going to take these edges, bring them up, and scale them in just a tad. Alright, and then I'm going to add more middle cuts right there and there so I can round out the bottom like that. And then we'll add one more multi-cut in the middle, and those edges will go a tad out like that. Okay, so that should be the basic shape for the bottom. Let's go into the side view and mess with it a little bit here. So it looks like it needs to be about there. We can scale it in just a tad, maybe like about there. And then I'm going to add in some multi-cuts. And these multi-cuts, I'm just going to shrink and move down like that. And same with those. Just scale them down, shrink them, and move them into place. Okay. So there's our bottom. You can unhide your other one. And we've got a cute little penguin beak working out. I think it got a little too long at the end. It does match the silhouette, but I kind of want to take these guys up a little bit. Maybe like about there. There we go. So he's feeling a little cube-ish, which makes sense. what we can do to kind of like alleviate that is we could take this edge and just delete it. You'll want to do Control Delete when you delete that edge. Same with this one. You can just do Control Delete and delete it. Control Delete and Control Delete. So now you see he rounds out a little bit better at least. All right, so now for that eye, we can grab a sphere and kind of move it on up. Let's see. So the eye takes place about there, but it actually takes place about here on the side view. So I guess that can kind of be up to you on where you want to put them. There is not awful. It's a little far. So maybe if we even put it like, actually maybe we'll start with here. So we'll say the eyes are going to be roughly about here. I'll bring them out just a little bit so we can see them. We'll just keep those as little placeholders for now. All right, why don't we work a bit on the wings, and then we'll work on the feet and the tail. Actually, the tail should be pretty easy because I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take this face. Yeah, let's just take both of these faces and just do, in your side view, do Control E, and we'll just up the thickness. And I'm just gonna move this up, and you can even like scale this down and move it like that. A cute little tail like that. And then technically we can angle these two faces to be facing more up and outward. Maybe even like that. And then his wings, let's see in this side view, looks like it starts around these faces. Let's actually match up the vertices a little bit better. So grab your vertice that's right here. I'm going to go into one mode for this so it's not smoothed out. And then that should be fine. We can keep that to the silhouette like that. And then maybe we'll do something like that. Okay, so let's use these faces and do Control E to extrude them, and then just put the thickness to like there. We're gonna kind of add some multi-cuts and stuff. But that should be about the length of him, maybe even like a little bit longer. Maybe around like 3.5, 4. We can always make it longer too if we need it. I'm gonna make it exactly 3.5. And then let's go ahead, grab your multi-cut tool. So if you remember, you can hold Shift, right click, and grab it from the side. And just add some middle mouse clicks like that going on the wing. And then really what I want to do is let's go into soft selection mode. If you click B, it'll turn that on. It basically means that when you select things, it'll also affect the things around it. So you can see it's not just affecting those faces. If you hold B and then drag, you can see how big your selection will become. So we can go ahead and kind of edit that a bit. All right, so I'm just taking those faces and just moving them down while in soft selection mode. That's important. Okay, we'll do that. And then let's see. I want to take this edge, turn off soft selection. Let's angle it like that. And then same with this one. Just angle it and move it down. This one's going to be pretty close. It's kind of like our shoulder. All right, let's select all these guys, not in soft selection. Oh, don't forget to select all of that. And just move it. And then I'm going to select these guys. Angle it a bit more, maybe like that. And move it on in. I'm also noticing that it seems like this edge just like came a bit too far out. So I'm just going to move it in like this. Okay, that's actually something that we can deal with in the side view, because we're going to want to match it to the silhouette. So let's do this in vertex mode, just the penguin. So you can see we can literally grab our vertices and match them to that side like that. The only thing is you're going to want to make sure that you are selecting just the arm and not whatever's below it. So like we'll select these two and then bring it on out to the, there we go, to the reference. We can use this guy as well. Bring him on out. Perfect. These guys are a pair, so we'll bring that out to the reference. And these two. Oh, this one's actually a little different because it's not quite all the way. It's going to start turning back in. Oh, I'm noticing this guy should come out probably a little bit more. There we go, about there. And then this is where it's going to start kind of turning back in. So you can pull those guys in. I'm going to grab these guys as well and pull them in like this. This guy will come in. All right, and then these guys, like over here, should go to the edge. These guys can go in the middle. There we go, about like that. Next, let's edit this side. So these guys need to be brought out. And those guys are actually pretty accurate. Maybe about there. So we have that kind of like curve going on. And then we have a little bit more to go. So what I'm going to do is just take these faces and extrude them. And then I'll just click W and bring them down like this. And then scale them like that. Okay, so now you can see we got that wing going for us. It seems like a pretty good thickness just looking at our front view. Seems pretty good. We can also press 3 and see how he's smoothing out. The wing looks good once it's all smoothed out like that. We can also kind of like take an edge and kind of try and make that shoulder a little bit more smooth, maybe like that. Now you can see I haven't really dealt with the other side yet because I think what I'm going to end up doing is selecting half of the faces. So like let's select this half and just delete them. Same with this back face. And then you can select these faces and do mesh mirror, and we'll just mirror it so that we don't have to do the other wing. So we should just look like that. Okay, very cute, looking nice. I do want to make his head a little bit smaller on the top. His head's a little big. Maybe like that. There we go. Alright, so we got the wings. Next I said we'd deal with the feet. So we can do that. Grab a cube. Bring it on down. And then let's scale it. And we'll do the same kind of thing that we did for the beak, which is we'll just move some of these vertices around to kind of work. Let's grab our multi-cut tool and make multi-cuts go in like this. Those are all just middle mouse button clicks that I'm doing. All right, and then I'm just going to start moving these vertices in to fit our silhouette for this side view. Okay, there we go. Let's see how that's looking. Obviously, we'll need to move it over a bit. More like here. And then it almost looks like from this view, we can angle him a little bit and a little down, like that maybe. Here we go. I'm going to bring it in just a smidge and then up so it's clipping our mesh like that. And then I'm going to add some multi-cuts in the middle and on the sides like that. And I think actually what I'll want to do is take like this edge and bevel them. Give it 2 segments and make it really small. And then take these faces, just these faces, these 4, like that, and just click W. Oh no, wait, extrude, Control E, and then down the thickness just a little bit. And then we'll get like tiny little indents on the feet. Something like really minimalist and small. And then really we can duplicate that, push it on over, and then we can either angle it in a different way to make it look a little more fun, maybe like that. There you go, he's got little feet now. All right, we kind of have the basic shape of the penguin going now. We can kind of make, for example, this stomach stick out a little bit more, kind of like how this front is. Which you could just grab some faces, click W, and we can kind of like angle them in a way that gives them a cute little stomach like that. And then, let's see, I want to take these guys and just bring them out a little bit and then angle them in a little more like that. Okay. So at this point, oh, I don't know what this sphere is. We just have an empty sphere just hanging out. So I'll just delete that. At this point, we could kind of start to, you know, add in some of the character details that our dear penguin has. Since we're basically done with the base, it looks like he's got like a hat with some like pilot gloves on top, and then we also have a scarf we can do. For the scarf, I'd probably recommend that we use a pipe. So if you hold shift while not selecting anything and right click, you can find a pipe right here. You could also use a helix technically. I think pipe will be the way to go though. So you could see when we have a pipe, if we scale it up, it already has a hole in it like that, which can be really useful for like something like a scarf where you do need a hole kind of like in the center. So I think what I'll do is I'll make the radius 2 and then let's scale it down to fit our penguin a little bit better. I'm going to scale it up and scale it a little bit longer. That way we can get a little bit more of that shape. I also don't think that it needs to be that thick, so maybe like 0.2 would work, and then we can kind of scale it down. We can also angle it a bit and then move it up to be like that. Yeah, I feel like 0.2 should be good. Then when you round it out, it'll look like that, yeah. Okay, so for the scarf, what we can do is kind of change some things on these vertices. So I think this scarf kind of comes down a little bit on like this portion. So like we could literally bring it down and out. And then these vertices up here, we can bring them down a bit like that. There we go. Make that curve a little bit. Let's see how that's looking. Good. You can also add in some stuff like that on the back. That way it's just like not all like one height. That looks good. I'm also just going to take this row of vertices and just scale it out just a tad so they're not clipping through his body mesh. And then I'm just going to bring some of these guys out and down. Okay. Just adding in some different dynamic pieces to it. Cool, so that's his scarf. We can kind of edit his face a little bit as well to kind of go around that. So if you just select this object, go into face mode, you can see his face gets a little like chubby cheeks here. So what we can do is select the faces that would kind of surround that. So maybe like these guys. Actually, we can even do soft selection again, like we did before. And kind of like make the selection a little bit smaller, maybe like that. And kind of start to just edit some of those places where he can have some chubbier cheeks, maybe like that. And kind of just like scaling some stuff. There we go, maybe like that. We can bring these eyes back out a little bit more. There we go, so now he's got like a little bit cuter of a shape to him. These faces can be moved back in a little bit. You can turn off soft selection when you're doing that. Actually, we might just want to take the edge. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, that's how he's looking right now. Let me look at my reference a little bit. Okay, cool. So, the scarf, what I would probably do, let's see, it seems like it's got one going down and then one up that we can do. Actually, I guess that's his wing. Let's do one down and then one going off to the side. So for this part, go back into one mode, and I want you to delete these faces like that. You can isolate it, and you'll see we just have a hole in our mesh like that. Then we're going to take this edge and extrude it, and then just click W, and we're just going to move it. Move it out like this. So this one is going to be the part of the scarf that kind of like falls down. So you can start with maybe just like a quick little like angle, maybe like that. Then Control E, and you can up the, I guess it's the offset, and just start moving it like this. It's getting a little small, so we can just scale it. And okay, that's looking fine. You can do Control E again, up that offset. And I'm just going to angle it, move it back a little bit like that. Next, for this part, we can select this edge, and we can do the same exact thing. So you can do Control E, you can change the offset, you can even go like further like that, and then we can just like push it wherever we would like it to go. So like if this part is the piece that's going out, we can go like this. I'm realizing that I think like I have my my front ended up being my back. So in the back view, you can just put the reference there. I don't know how I always end up like mixing up my references. I literally always do it. All right, now we can see him. So here is the scarf that we're talking about. So like the scarf you can just pull it all the way down so it comes to like here, and then we can just add multi-cuts in the middle and just double click these edges and just move them a bit like that. There we go. See? Very easy. Okay. And then obviously there is some like clipping here. So we're going to want to either move like that guy a little bit down. You can start like angling this guy down to try and like get rid of that clipping. Move him out a bit. There we go. Let's see how that's looking. On your edges, you're going to want to double click the edge and do mesh fill hole. That way we don't have any holes in our mesh. Oh, I'm realizing that somehow I deleted these faces. So that's fun. If you accidentally did that as well, just delete faces so that you have like an open hole like that. Click both edges, do edit mesh, bridge option box. You'll do a linear path. I guess we can do 2 divisions, and you can just connect it like this. And the taper should be at 1 or at 0. I mean, not 1. Okay, and then I'm just going to take these edges and move them a little bit. There we go. All fixed. Okay, so do control 1. I had isolated it. So as you can see, our little guy, the scarf is kind of inside of him. So we're going to need to edit that, which we can just do by selecting these edge loops and just bringing them around his mesh. I'm going to angle this guy to be more like that. Okay, so that's better. I also just want to take these edges and we'll just move them. You can click B for soft selection, and I just want to angle and kind of move them back a little bit. All right, turn off soft selection. I'm going to edit these edges just a little bit more. This one you'll have to actually go through and select and then angle it kind of needed. Okay. You can click 3 and see how that's smoothing out. So that looks better now that it's sitting on top of him. So we've got a bit of a little scarf for him. And then we can do the hat next. The one thing that I feel like I want to try and kind of get correct is that fluff material. Which I wonder if we could just like take a cube, scale it down, and then almost like create it using some multi-cuts where the loops kind of like hit. Like if we just did multi-cuts like that, and then bring the vertices down where the ends are, and then in the middle of all of those guys, select the vertices and bring them up to be like little bumps. Kind of see what I'm going for? Almost like that. I mean, actually, that does technically work. It is technically fur at that point. I kind of like it. let's turn on soft selection, and I want to select these faces and these faces and just move them down to just bring a little curve. Okay, so I spent some time fiddling around with the hat, and I think what I actually want to do is, you can leave the fur, but I want to make the hat again, so you can just delete it. And I think this time, what I want to create the hat out of is, I want to make it out of a cube, but this time, instead of extruding the faces, I just want to take the bottom face and this face like this, and then I want to extrude this shape like that. So we can just get like the basic shape of the hat down first, like that, and then we'll work from there. So go ahead and make that shape alongside with me, and then we're going to be moving it and scaling it. Let's see, so it fits a bit better. I'm gonna make it a little bit shorter. Maybe like about there. Okay. And then the vertices, I'm just going to be dragging, hold control and drag on the top, just like we've done before. Oh, we're going to need some more multi-cuts before we do that. So add a multi-cut going across like this, and then add some in the middle like that. There we go. And then take these guys and scale it on down. About the size of his head should be good. And then I'm going to want to take these vertices and scale down and move down. Same with this vertice going here. Okay, don't click and drag because you don't want to accidentally click the back. That would be bad. All right, and then I'm also just going to bring it in a bit because it should be under the fur. So you don't want it to like overwhelm the fur. Same with these guys. You can bring them down, but just make sure you bring them back in a little bit. All right, and then these vertices I'm going to bring down and in, and these guys as well, down and in. Just really trying to hug his face there. And then let's work a bit on the outer section, just bringing them in like that. And these guys are going to be out like that. All right. If you smooth it out, you can kind of see how that's looking. I'm going to move it a bit and make sure the fur or the fuzz is kind of attached to it a little bit better. You can even scale it like a little bit longer. All right, that's looking good. We'll need to take this edge and bring him out a little bit so it goes around. And then you can actually, kind of looking at like this view, it seems like he's got cute little like flaps coming down from the sides, which we can add in by adding some extra multi-cuts going across. I will want to take this edge and doing control delete and this edge and doing control delete just to round it out. And then we'll need to bring these faces out and maybe even like down a little bit. Okay. So for that little piece that's kind of like sticking out, we can take these front faces, do Control E. I'm going to offset it in just a little bit and then do Control E again and up the thickness like that. You can also click R and let's see. Yeah, we can just like scale them in a little bit, maybe make it a little different. You can also select this edge and bevel it to get like two segments and relatively small. That way it looks like that. And then From my understanding, I think these hats are supposed to be flaps. I'm gonna look up what a pilot hat. Oh, actually, no, that's relatively accurate. They do come down a little bit. So what we're gonna want to do is take this, these vertices here, and let's see. You can just do Control 1 to isolate it. I want to take basically like this edge here and basically like bring it up to look like that. And we'll do the same on this side. Just like bring the edge up. Yeah. And then these edges we can bring down just a tad. Something like that. Do Control 1. It'll bring back our penguin. There we go. I'm just going to move it back a little bit. Alright, and then he is supposed to have some goggles on his head. So we can go ahead and create those. I would probably create, let's see what his pilot goggles kind of look like. Okay, so they're kind of like little spheres hanging on. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we'll grab a cylinder, and I'm going to scale this down. Definitely does not need to be that big. I'm going to take these front faces and these back faces. Make sure you didn't select anything else. Do Control E to extrude it. I'm going to offset them in, and then I'll Control E one more time and push my thickness in. So like that. So that is like one lens, technically. And then let's rotate the cylinder 90 like this. And then I just want to see what's a good scale for him. Maybe like about there. Okay. So this guy will bring up. I'm going to make him sit roughly on top of the fur like this. There we go. We can kind of angle it in a way. Makes him sit like that. And then you can duplicate that guy and move it on over to go like that. And then depending on how you want it to connect, we could use a we can use a pipe. Move it on up. Let's make it, the thickness can be like point maybe 2. The height can be maybe like 1. The radius can be 2. And then it'll basically do something like this on his head in the way that it kind of connects. I'm going to scale it. We'll need to change some stuff, but you can kind of see what I'm going for. Now we can turn soft select on and then select these rows of vertices and do something like that. Actually, what we're gonna need to, like, what we'll really need to do is put these about here, like that. And then let's just click turn soft select off, and I just want to delete those faces. Because that's actually how the goggles will look. Is the strap will go there, and we'll kind of connect it into the glasses, maybe like that. Good. And then we can just bridge these guys together. Which you can do by first selecting both objects, doing mesh combine, And then you'll want to select the faces that you're bridging and then do edit mesh bridge, and one division should be fine. And then turn the maybe to 1 or maybe off entirely. Seems like there's twist and there shouldn't be. You can kind of edit it a bit. Actually kind of looks kind of cool with some twist. Okay, weird. So whenever I go to like negative 122, it seems to fix the twist. Very odd. But there's some easy goggles. And then we can edit this strap. If you just like do soft select, we can kind of move this guy in a way that attaches him a bit more to the head. I'm just kind of like going through and angling it. There you go. Now you guys can kind of see what I'm going for here. Just angling those edges to attach to the hat. I'm also going to save this guy. That's a great idea if you guys haven't saved it yet as well. Okay. So there is kind of what the strap's looking like, all smoothed out. I'm going to bring in some of these edges just a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Cool. So there's his little, kind of like a simple hat and goggles. I'm noticing that his eyes don't seem centered. Okay, that's a little bit better. But yeah, depending on how you kind of want to add in the details, that's really about it for the character overall. At this point, we can technically go in and do some like texturing stuff. I'm just going to throw like really base textures on it, but if you wanted to, you could go into Substance and really texture out the character. I'm going to texture the scarf first, so I'm just going through and selecting each of these rows like that. Kind of doing like an every other pattern. Okay, and then I'm going to give that a material, assigning the AI standard surface shader. And actually, I think she gave me a reference with some colors. So we can go ahead and take the colors directly from that image. Looks like a cute little green, and then these other guys will be a darker green. Alright, and then this one will be a new material. Same with just AI standard surface. And this one looks like a nice like dark color. Okay. The penguin overall is like a black color, and then it has like uh little designs of white and such on the face. So we can make it black first. And then for like the white part, obviously he's got like a little white belly. The under part of his tail is white. The under part of his wings are white as well. So you can kind of select those from the side. Like that. And then part of his face is white. I'll select maybe that first. And I might want to edit some of it. Well, let's just do that first. That'll all be white like this. And then really what's kind of supposed to happen is I want to take these vertices and bring it like that. And then let's take this vertex and put it like that. And that's kind of more of the face texture. Yeah. And then I'm just going to make these guys all black. Maybe like this. Technically, we could make this the white material. And what I would probably do is like duplicate it, scale them down, move them out, and then you could make that the black material for some eyes. Alright, the fur of the hat, it seems to be like a very nice cream color. So we'll add that in, and then the actual hat looks to be like a brown. So I'll just take that. And then the goggles appear to be like a dark gray. And then we can actually make the inside of the goggles clear. So if you were to like select these faces, we can assign a new material and make that, if you turn the transmission up, then you'll be able to see through them. I'm going to make that vertex come out a little bit more. I also forgot that he technically has eyebrows. So let's like take these vertices up a bit. And then the eyebrows we can make, I usually use a torus and then I just like cut it in half like that. And then we can kind of like scale it. We can take these edges, do mesh fill hole, and then we could take some of these edges and kind of form to be a little more eyebrowy. This is a good time to use soft selection too, like if you wanted to go through and like select these faces. That's a good time to use soft selection. Obviously this is like way too big of an eyebrow for him, so you can scale that down, move him on over. And we'll angle it. Still seems a little thick. I actually almost want to take like these faces and delete them. There we go. I feel like that's almost better. And then I'll just fill the hole in that. Okay, so he's got a cute little eyebrow, which will be black. Let me see. I should have labeled my textures. I always forget to do that. And then you can duplicate that and bring him on over. Angle him to fit on the face. Okay, there we go. Making sure he's clipped into the mesh. Alright, cool. Actually, I almost feel like I'm just going to make the beak brown. Or, I mean orange. I feel like it should be for a penguin. I don't know. I'm just going to give him like an orange color beak. There we go. Alright. Oh yeah, and then obviously make his little feet orange too. Let's save that before we get too far. And then I'm gonna go to Arnold, grab a sky dome, grab a plane, scale it on up, and then put him on top of the plane. And I always add a checker texture to it. Let's save that. The textures are looking really glossy right now, so that'll probably be something that I change. Like he's looking very ceramic right now, as you can see. So we can go through, let's delete all of our history. And we can just start adding some roughness. If you just turn up diffuse roughness, either on specular or on color, both can kind of work. They are like kind of reflective. They are supposed to be like slippery creatures, so rubbery skinned creatures. So we can kind of just turn up the roughness, especially on stuff like the fluff, like that all can have pretty good roughness. The goggles you can leave. The scarf should be completely rough. The feet and the beak can be up to you. Alright. But that is about it. So I really haven't done a character before. Obviously, you wouldn't really model an entire character in Maya. At this point, you could probably now like go and take the character into like ZBrush, add some little details onto it, things like that, to like really make your character have some fun details. I also want to bring out these eyes a little bit. Sorry, it was bugging me. Um, there we go. And then I'm going to make these guys have a new material than the skin. That way I can make that like really white. And this guy will be more gray and a little rough. There we go. Something like that. But anyways, yeah, so obviously like I would, if I was doing this character, I'd probably take it into ZBrush, add some cute little details onto him, maybe even take it into Substance and add some like really fun fur and stuff like that. But that's kind of just like a base for your character to go off of. This is kind of what I would do if you are creating this character. But yeah, I always think that like just stuff like this is really good practice in terms of expanding your Maya abilities. So I hope that this was at least just fun for you to do. It's a little different than what we're kind of used to. So great job if you got through this. I know this is a little difficult. Um, But yeah, I had a lot of fun. So I hope you had fun as well. Check out my newsletter and my virtual tip jar, and I will see you guys for the next tutorial. All right, bye guys.